Hello, Belatro Legendary Joker guy here. Now I'm delving into horror for some reason, but whatever, I like it. I realize I suck at opinion related stuff, so I'm sticking to lore. But whatever, what am I gonna do for this opening? I guess we can start with getting straight into the—
Long before time had a name, the first Spinjitzu master created Ninjago.
Oh. I realize I now have to play horror games for the background footage or something. Well, okay, you probably already know what the hell SCP is. Scary stories about monsters or entities or things that are somehow contained in some way by humans or not really? I don't know, it's kinda confusing. Anyways, I'm gonna try and explain one of my favorite SCPs and most mindfucky ones, I guess. So here we go. SCP-3999, I am at the center of everything that happens to me. Boy, this is about to be a confusing vid. SCP-3999 is an SCP that's not like your usual monsters or entities like the Scarlet King or Peanut Boy. It might not even be a real thing. If you look at the wiki page and you're not used to reading long shit like I do, you'll probably have a seizure first before actually understanding in full what the f is going on in the page. Heck, I knew this SCP from watching a infomercial animation type of YouTube video for SCP to know more about it, but I'll try to explain the story to you as simple as possible. The story starts with, like most of other SCP entries, a description of how to contain the SCP. SCP-3999 cannot be contained at the present moment. SCP-3999 can end the world. SCP-3999 can be theoretically contained if Talaran is in an extremely secluded area, then the SCP will temporarily cease, be contained, preserve some remnants. A researcher named Talaran is the key to its containment, as it exists solely for him. Every time the entry tries to tell us the containment procedure, it changes the words that led to its demise or containment. That's what the strike truths are all about. So let's actually get into the story. I'll spare you all the reading complications I had when I first read it. We'll do this in chronological order because f you, I want to do it that way. So there's this guy called James Talaran. He's a researcher in the world that is the SCP universe, and sadly for him, compared to the things that happened and will happen in this universe, he got the short end of a stick. He got one of the, if not the worst fates that could happen in that universe. One day, he either discovers or becomes linked to SCP-3999, an entity or force that has infinite godlike reality warping powers, is obsessed with Talaran specifically, only affects Talaran and only Talaran can perceive it. It's unclear how this connection begins, because the article offers no clear origin. One version implies that he was researching something and it triggered. Another suggests it's an entirely internal struggle. Maybe he's not being tortured by a god, but by his own trauma, regrets, and broken mind. Heck, for all I know, it might not even be an actual entity at all, and the story is entirely about an insane person. But nevertheless, we shall continue.
Is anyone out there? Hello?
After the encounter, SCP-3999 destroys reality around Talaran. He is dragged into a realm, if you can call it that, of constant suffering where time doesn't function. Reality reshapes constantly. He dies and resurrects endlessly. He's transformed into objects, animals, and concepts. He is placed into absurd, grotesque, or humiliating scenarios like being tortured by infinite clones of himself, being turned into a spider and eaten by children, being lectured by Abraham Lincoln about failure, drowning in infinite yogurt. Okay, at this point the writer is actually just fucking taking the piss out of Talaran. Despite the insanity, there's a pattern. SCP-3999 is trying to break Talaran, not just physically but mentally and spiritually. Now, as we get into the story about basically Talaran getting tortured non-stop, we start to see cracks in not just Talaran but the article itself. Like I said earlier, there's a bunch of strike throughs and errors in this article. I'll just list them off now one by one. So the document starts rewriting itself. The formatting is glitching out. The identity swap, like it seemed like the SCP and Talaran are becoming one, and the foundation collapses, sometimes replaced with nonsense or hallucinations. The tone of the story itself shifts from clinical to emotional, desperate rambling, and after all that, we slowly begin to uncover Talaran's life. We know now out that Talaran was a quiet, awkward guy who just tries to be a good person. He is haunted by guilt and insecurity caused by something traumatic in his past that made him that way. I know this from the way he talked about himself. I'm not good enough. I'm not supposed to be here. I don't deserve this job. He basically has imposter syndrome. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when you feel like you're never good enough at something. You feel like your skills are always gonna be mediocre and you're never gonna progress at anything in life or something similar to that. Okay, this is getting way too personal and relatable to me, but back to the story. There was something in his past life that made him this way. He keeps blaming himself for something that he did, though unclear. He's also shown to be always alone, like eating alone, living alone, nobody caring about him, what the fuck, whatever, etc. It's kind of a reflection of Lord Stonefish's own personal struggle, the author of the story. SCP-3999 is basically just a mirror of his own self-hate, but we'll get to that later. After millions of iterations and 12,671,348 different versions of the SCP entry, something changes. Talaran finally stops fighting. He's not trying to do anything to resist anymore. No more fighting, no more screaming. He just accepts everything and endures the torment. Then, in one moment, he just sort of sits next to SCP-3999 and whatever the fuck kind of form it takes on now and says, "I understand. I'm sorry, but I am not going anywhere." This made SCP-3999 shook. This means that if Talaran isn't willing to do anything to be in quotation play, it can't win. And so it ends. The story ends with the SCP entry rewritten one final time. SCP-3999 does not exist. Dr. James Talaran, status deceased. There's no more violence, no more suffering, no screams, just silence. And that's the end of that. The story is related to the struggles of the writer Lord Stonefish, as he is basically Talaran in the story. He's kind of self-projecting, but whatever. The feelings of unworthiness, self-deprecation, etc. It's basically what he felt as a writer and in the workplace. But I guess by how the story ends, you kinda get how to fight it. By acceptance of your suffering, enduring it, and refusing to let it define you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.